All right, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back. I'm not sure I like my hair this morning, but it's okay. I think I'm wearing the same shirt I wore either last time I did this or the time before. So if you notice that, don't get distracted by that, please. Hope you guys are doing okay. I just saw that there's a shelter-in-place order from the governor for those of you out in Maryland. So looks like you're going to be spending more time in the house. Make the most of it. You guys can be okay. Nothing better than some William Shakespeare's Hamlet to fill your otherwise boring day. I'm not going to talk a long time today. It's not a real interesting. I don't know, let me rephrase that. It's not a real exciting part of the movie, and I'm going to do a little skipping around. But it is what it is. We'll get back to more excitement shortly. So there's Hamlet. You recognize him. He just killed Polonius. Whether he did it, thinking it was the king behind the curtain hiding out, whether he thought it was really Polonius, whether he didn't really care who it was or why they were there, it's all not very apparent. But he's now killed somebody, and that changed everything for Hamlet. All right, at the beginning of the play, he was this morose, melancholy, prince that we felt bad for, some of us, and right now he's a guy who murdered someone who was fairly innocent. Although you decide, I don't know, like if we were in class, I would probably ask you, do you think he's innocent, or do you think Polonius is innocent? Do you think that he deserves to be, killed like that? And generally, in the past, half of you would say, yeah, he deserves it because that's what he gets for being sneaky, and some of you would say, he doesn't deserve to die for that. So, regardless of what you think, that's what's happened. And we talked last time we talked about Laertes. Laertes is going to want some revenge for the death of his father. Ophelia is going to be probably mad at her ex-boyfriend, this guy right here, Hamlet, because he killed her father. So anyway, let's watch some. In this scene, Hamlet is, he killed Polonius, and he's up in his mom's room, and he's confronting his mom about what it is that she did or didn't do in her relationship with Claudius. So it gets kind of weird, a little ugly, but let's see what happens. Oh no, hold on. All right, let's try this again.
This others actively doth burn, and reason and does will.
Henry, speak no more. Thou close mine eyes into my very soul, and there I see such black and graining spots as will not leave their taint.
So Hamlet's been saying, oh, you went from, and if you had seen this part, he holds two pictures in front of her. He says, here's your dead husband, here's your new husband, and look how, your old husband, he was like this, he was a great guy. Your new husband is like this dirtbag, really low guy. And she's, starting to think about what it is. Her conscience is maybe coming into play a little bit and thinking about what it is. She says, you're making me look inside of myself, and I don't like what I see. And maybe she's feeling a little guilty, or maybe she's thinking about things that she had never really thought about before, and maybe she should have.
Rank sweat and enseamed bed, stewed in corruption, honey of making love of a nasty sty.
Oh, speak to me no more. These words like daggers enter in my ears.
Remember, Hamlet said, from now on, I'll speak daggers, but use none. So he's doing exactly what he said he would do. We're saying mean things to her, but he's not hurting her physically, because that's what the ghost told him to do.
No more, sweet Hamlet.
A slave, his 20th part the time will precede and lord, a vice of kings, a cut purse of the empire, the rule, the promised shelf, a precious diadem stole and put it in his pocket.
No more!
King shreds and patches.
Whoa! So the ghost shows up. So Hamlet's really saying, Claudius is this kind of bad, and this kind of bad, and this kind of bad, and all these terrible things, right in his mom's face, and then the ghost shows up. And look how the ghost looks different if you are familiar with or remember what the ghost looked like before. He looks different. How? Yes, the answer is nobody answered it, but he looks more colorful, right? He's got color in his cheeks. He's not as pale looking. So what's going on? I mean, where's Claudius? He's in purgatory. Purgatory is this temporary place where the sins are burnt and purged away. So he's been paying off his dues, right? So, the more time he spends there, the less of a ghost maybe he is. So here he shows back up.
Say to me, and offer all of your wings and heavenly gods, would your gracious that's bad. You not come, your tardy son, to chide that lapsed in time and passion. Let's go by the important acting of your dread command. So
he sees the ghost. The queen doesn't see the ghost. She says, alas, he's mad. So she's going to think that more and more that he's crazy talking to the heir. And he says, did you not come to chide your tardy son? Right? Are you here to scold me for not doing what you told me to do, which is to kill Claudius? Yep, Hamlet sees the ghost.
Do not forget, this visitation is but to wet my warmest blood purpose. But long amazement on thy mother's sins, no step between her and her fighting soul. The sweet in weakest bodies, strongest words. Speak to her, Hamlet.
how is it with you, Lady?
It's with you that you to bend your eye on vacancy, and with the incorporeal air do hold this course. For that your eyes your spirits wildly peep, and as the sleeping soldiers in the alarm, your bedded hair like life in excrement start up and stand on end. O gentle son, upon the heath.
I'm going to fast forward a little bit, but basically the ghost says, talk to your mom. Stop yelling at her, talking to her like a human being, like she's your mother, and leave her alone.
To whom do you speak this?
Do you see nothing there?
Nothing at all. Yet all that is, I say.
Look, you've nothing here.
No, nothing but ourselves.
Look you there. Look how it steals away. My father! It is Hamlet as he lived. Look, when he goes even now into the portal.
This is the very coinage of your brain. This bodiless creation of ecstasy is very cunning in
Ecstasy. My pulse, as yours, doth temperately keep time and makes us healthful music. It is not madness that I have uttered. Bring me to the test, and I the matter will be word which madness will stumble from. Mother, love of grace, lay not that flattering unction to your soul, that not your trespass, that my madness speaks, twill but skin and film the ulcerous place, whilst rank corruption, mining all within, infects unstopped. Confess yourself to heaven, repent what's past, avoid what is to come, and do not spread the compost on the weeds.
Looks like it right now.
Forgive me this my virtue, for in the fatness of these cursed times, virtue itself of vice must pass.
All right, moving on. All right, basically Hamlet's telling his mom, I'm not crazy, right? Don't try to put your guilt, what you did onto me. He says, I'm totally sane. You need to look at what it is that you've done. Then he goes on to tell her she should start to reject Claudius, don't go to bed with him anymore, and that, he's got other things to do. So, not the most important part of the play, but certainly a turning point here. And his mom is starting to think perhaps that, if she didn't know what Claudius did, maybe she was being a little bit, not very observant as to what was happening.
To breathe, thou hast said to me, I must to England. You know that?
God. It is so concluded on.
Those letters sealed. And my two schoolfellows, whom I will trust as I will adders fanged, they bear the mandate. They must speak my...
So Hamlet's being sent to England. The king is getting rid of him, trying to get him out of, the proximity. He doesn't trust Hamlet near him. Hamlet just said, and my two schoolmates, we know those are Rosencrantz and Guildenstern, he says, I'll trust them as adders fanged. And, if we were talking about that in class, an adder is a snake. So he says, I'm going to trust them like snakes with fangs, which means he's not going to trust them at all. Those two guys are the ones that are going to escort him to England for the king.
Away and marshal me to knavery. Let it work. But 'tis the sport to have the engineer hoist with his own petard, and it shall go hard. But I will delve 1 yard below their minds and blow them at the moon.
He says, I don't really know what's going on with these guys or what their plan is, but they're going to get caught in their own trap. I'm going to go underneath them, figure out what's going on, and then blow them at the moon. And then I'm going to blow up their whole plan.
It is most sweet when in one line two crafts directly meet. This man is a pack. I put the guts into a naked room. I do.
So right before this, he told his mom, don't tell anybody, what you've seen or what happened. And she says, I won't tell anybody.
This counselor is now most still, most secret and most grave, who was in life a foolish, prating knave, comes to draw toward an end with you. Good night, mother.
There's matter in these eyes. These boots are huge. You must translate. Just let me understand. Where is your son?
Restore this place and last a little while. Oh, my own Lord, what have I seen tonight?
How does Hamlet?
Mad as the sea and wind when both contend which is the mightier. In his lawless fit, behind the arras, hearing something stir, puts out his rapier, cries a rat, and in this brainish apprehension, kills the unseen. Good old man.
Every deed has happened so with us.
Claudius says it had been so with us had we been there. So his reaction to hearing that Polonius was murdered says, oh no, that could have been me if I were there, which is not really a very empathetic, understanding reaction, is it? You should say, oh no, Polonius, that guy was my man, my advisor, my buddy. Instead he says, gosh, I'm so glad it wasn't me. So Claudius, again, selfish, self-centered, focused only on, his own advancement in his own life.
His liberty is full of sense to all. You will send to us everyone. Nice household is bloody deed, lads. It will be laid to us. His providence will be kept short, restrained, and out of haunt this mad young man. So much was our love, we would not understand what was most fit.
So Claudius is upset. He's like his liberty is a threat to everybody, right? So Hamlet being free, running around is, threatening to everybody, especially to him. He says, and how am I going to punish him? How am I going to get, how is he going to face punishment for what he did? He's like, they're going to blame me because I didn't do anything when I first found out he was mad, right? And he said, my initial reaction was out of love. I thought, maybe it was his broken heart, or we could fix it. And he's saying they're going to come for me, and he's kind of right, but he wasn't making any of these decisions, for Hamlet's best interest ever, probably.
And the owner of a foul disease, to keep it from divulging, let it feed even on a bit of life. Where is he gone?
To draw apart the body he had killed. Oh, his very madness, like some ore amongst a mineral of metal's base, shows itself pure, a weep's for what is done.
Some of them sooner shall the mountains touch, but we will stream hence. This vile deed we must with all our majesty and skill both countenance and excuse. Oh, Guildenstern, friends both, go join you with some further aid.
So as soon as the sun comes up, the king says, I'm going to send Hamlet away, send him to England. And he says, it's going to take all the skill I have to explain this away to the people of Denmark.
Hamlet in madness hath Polonius slain, and from his mother's closet hath he dragged him. Go seek him out, speak there, and bring the body into the chapel. Come on, pay your way, Dennis! Come, Gertrude. We'll call up our wisest friends and let them know both what we mean to do and what's untidily done. So envious slander, whose whisper of the world's diameter is leveled as the cannon to his blank transportive poison shot, may miss our name and hit the woundless hair.
He basically says, we've got to go explain to the people what's happened, and we need to do it in such a way that nobody's going to blame us for it. So Claudius, selfish, totally only thinking of himself, right? How am I going to explain to Denmark that all this, the death of Polonius, and make it so they don't think that I had anything to do with it? When, in fact, he's the most guilty, right? If he hadn't killed his brother way back when, none of this stuff would be happening.
My soul is full of discord and dismay. Safely stowed. What noise? Who calls on Hamlet? Oh, here they come. What have you done, my lord, with the dead body? You bound it with dust when it is killed. Tell us what is it, and I take it then and bear it to the town. Do not believe, but it what? That I can keep your counsel and not my own besides. Who needs it one? Of a sponge.
A sponge?
Replication should be made by the son of a king. To him we a sponge, my lord. Aye, sir, that soaks up the king's countenance, his rewards, his authorities, but such officers do the king best service in the end. He gave them like a ape, an apple in the corner of his jaw, first loud to be last swallowed. When he needs what you have gleaned, it is but spitting you, and the sponge you shall be dry. Understand you not, my little lad of the name.
They're like, where's the body? What happened? Tell us where the body is. And he calls them a sponge because, he says you kind of just sit around the king, right? You suck up and absorb all the things that he says and does, or he sends you out there to absorb the things you see. Then he brings you out and you get you give back all that information. So he doesn't trust them. He doesn't like them anymore. He knows that they're shady characters. We know that as well. But ultimately, they're just kind of stuck in the middle too, right? They're doing what the king told them that they had to do, and they didn't really have a choice.
Speech sleeps in a foolish ear. Lord, you must tell us where the body is and go with us to the king. But the king is not the body. The king is a thing of nothing, my lord. Of nothing. Bring me to him.
Why does Hamlet run away right now? Right? He's like, blah, 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 blah. He's doing his usual dramatic self, right? Talking. And then Ophelia comes down and he panics and runs away. Why? Why, Dylan?
Why? I don't know.
Because it's Ophelia. It's his girlfriend, right? And he killed her father. So he's like, he didn't want to deal with that right now. He runs away.
found the body. How dangerous is it that this man goes loose? Yet must not we put the strong law on him? He's loved of the distracting multitude, who light not in their judgment, but their eyes. And where it is so, the offender's scourge is weighed, but never the offence. To bear all smooth and even, this sudden sending him away must seem deliberate pause. Disease is desperate grown, but desperate appliance are relieved or not at all. What has befallen? Where the dead?
So the king says, I can't punish him too strongly because the people of Denmark love him, right? And they judge him just by the way he looks and not necessarily the things that he does. So if he punishes him too strongly, people are going to blame the king, right? What's the possible punishment that the king could levy against Hamlet, right? He could lock him up in jail. He could exile him. He could have him executed, right, for murder. But the fact is he says, I can't punish him too strongly.
What is bestowed, my lord? We cannot get from him. Where is he? Without, my lord. Guard it, to know your pleasure.
Bring him before us.
How can stand? Bring in, my lord.
Where's Polonius?
At supper. At supper? Where? Not where he eats, but where he is eaten. A certain convocation of politic worms, I eat at it. Your worm is your only emperor of the diet. We fat all creatures else to fat us, and we fat ourselves for maggots. Your fat king and your lean beggar is but variable service. 2 dishes, but to 1 table. That's the end. A man may fish with the worm, but eat of a king, and eat of the fish that have fed that worm. What does that mean by this? Nothing but to show you how a king may go of progress through the guts of a beggar. Where is Polonius? In heaven, send thither to see. If your messenger find him not there, seek him in the other place yourself. But if indeed.
I like that part. All right. So, Hamlet comes in and he talks about the fish and the beggar and the worm. And basically all he's kind of really saying here is that Hamlet is I'm sorry. I was looking at your comments. I got confused. Basically, Hamlet's saying that everybody's the same, right? We all live, we all die, we all turn into, according to Hamlet, food for worms. And that's the only difference, or there is no difference in when you're dead between a king and a beggar. We won't go into the rest of the stuff. And then he says, Claudius says, where is Polonius? And he says, in heaven. You can send somebody there to go see for yourself, or if he's not there, you can go look in the other place for him yourself. And he's saying if he's not there, you can go to hell and you can go look for him there. And so really Hamlet is kind of talking disrespectfully to the king, but he doesn't seem to really care anymore either. And the king doesn't look really happy with Hamlet either.
If you find him not within this month, you shall notice him as you go up the stairs into the lobby. Percy. He will stay till you come.
So he says, first of all, he says, well, he's upstairs under the stairs or near the stairs or whatever. And he says, if you don't go find him right away, you'll nose him, you'll smell him before, the month is up. And then Claudius says, go get him. And Hamlet says, well, you don't really have to rush. He's not going anywhere. So kind of funny, I think, anyway.
This deed of thine for thine especial safety, which we do tender, as we dearly grieve for that which thou hast done, must send thee hence with fiery quickness. Therefore prepare thyself. The bark is ready, and the wind that help, the associates tend, and everything is bent for England. Good. So is it, if thou use that purpose.
I see a cherub that sees them. But come, for England, farewell, dear mother.
My loving father, Hamlet.
Mother, mother, man and wife is one flesh and soul. My mother.
Hamlet's just acting crazy, getting inside of Claudius's head and being sent to England.
Not I'll have him hence tonight. Away. Everything is sealed down that else leans on the affair. My love, thou holds Lord. As my great power thereof may give thee sensings, yet thy cicatrice was raw and red out of the Danish sword, and thy free oar pays homage to us. Thou mayst not only set our sovereign process, which imports add for by letters conquering to that effect the present death of Hamlet.
Oh, snap. Did you get that? The king gives the letters to Rosencrantz Guildenstern, says, take him to England. He's got to go, tomorrow when the sun comes up. And he hands him the letters and he closes the door. And then he says, in England, if you want to pay back what you owe me, okay, because of things that happened in the past, you will kill Hamlet. All right. So the letter says that when Hamlet gets to England, England owes Denmark a favor. So kill him. I guess Claudius is not only going to kill Hamlet's father, but kill Hamlet himself as well now. Good guy? Bad guy? Yeah, he's the worst, right?
Do it, England! For the head's taken my bloody rages, and thou must kill me. I know this now. For ere my haps, my joys were ne'er begun.
He says, until I know that he's dead, nothing good that happens to me is going to matter, right? The king feels threatened by Hamlet. Hamlet is a threat to him, so he's going to get rid of him. And that's a good place to stop for the day. So Ophelia, she's pretty upset. That's her dad, right? All righty. So interesting things happen today. It's going to get more and more exciting, right? We've already gotten to kind of the peak of the action, right? The turning point. Hamlet killed Polonius. Ophelia found out. Hamlet knows that the king is actually responsible for the death of his father, and so things are going to start to there'll be a lot of action happening, but then they'll start to resolve itself as well. All right, so that we're in Act 4, and there are 5 acts in this play. Moving right along. Hope you guys have a great day, all 4 of you, because there are 4 people watching. And if you watch it later, hey, how you doing? Thanks for coming by. I'll see you guys tomorrow. We've been talking, the English teachers have been talking about the plans for the rest of the semester, the fourth quarter. I'll have more information as time goes by. I think what we're doing is closing our grade books, where we left off. So the grades that you have in your grade book for right now, or in the grade book for right now for this quarter are, sure, I can post on Google Classroom when I go live, sure. What was I just saying? So I think the grades that you have for the third quarter on the grade book are the same grades that when we left, whatever it was, 2 weeks ago or 6 weeks ago. Who can even keep track of time now? But that will be your grade for the third quarter. And then fourth quarter is going to start pretty soon. I guess like in a week and a half, 2 weeks. There's more to come. There'll be lessons up and things that we're going to start working on. But your grades, I'm going to go through those probably this week, and I will, I'll update the grades. I'll make any changes or adjustments that need to be made, and I'll put an announcement out on Classroom when your grades have been finalized. So if you were, killing it and doing great up till a couple weeks ago, then your grade is going to be awesome. And if you were struggling and not doing work, probably won't be as awesome as it could have been. We're going to still do the zines. We had a conversation with the senior English teachers today about the zines. That will be the primary focus of all the work that we're going to do for the rest of the semester. They probably won't be, they'll change a lot. They won't be hard copy. They'll be electronic. The topics will probably be a little more, contemporary. And we'll make adjustments for those kinds of things as well. I don't know the answer to graduation question for that person that just put those up. I can't answer that. I'm not even involved in that conversation. Those are administrator, county decisions. But the way things are going, this will still be an issue, a problem facing, the world, I think in late May, and who knows? We can hope for the best. You'll probably find out as soon as I find out. And if you have any questions, you guys, you have all my contact information. It's all on Classroom. Have a great day as well, and I'll be back tomorrow. There's more exciting stuff happening tomorrow. It looks like a beautiful day. Go. I don't know. Can you go for a walk? You can probably still go for a walk out there in Maryland. So do it. Make sure you guys are getting outside. Adios. See ya. Peace. Bye. Miss you guys.